All right. All right. So I think these are the informational items. I think the team is ready to start providing some information. So I'm going to turn it over to our Quality Assurance Executive from ClearBest, Wendy Batterman, to get us kicked off. Wendy, are you there?
Yes, thank you, John.
Excellent.
All right, good morning. I am Wendy Batterman. I am the QA executive of the ClearBest team. Today, I'm joined by June Hutchinson, Seth Richmond, Rachel Fry, and Don Wilder. Together, we will be taking you across California and through a journey to Kalasaws. June and I will be playing your tour guides today. We will take you to destinations and explore topics as diverse as California itself. Seth, Rachel, Don, and I will help in launching our journey with a look at how we're all coming together in service to California. But first, let's talk about how we're going to navigate our journey today. All right, today we are going to be using our proverbial phone navigation to get to and learn more about each destination. Our navigation screen will provide information for each destination, such as at the very top, you'll see the name of the destination. So click, go ahead and click. And then the next section will actually provide you where it says directions, the time for our topic or to actually complete our destination. The next section down will provide the availability, whether this service is already available, when it is, or if it's coming soon. The next section down will provide our topics and sites at our destination, the topics that we'll be exploring as we get to each destination. And then look out for those few caution messages that we'll have at the bottom as well. All right, so today we will be talking about 16 different topics as we go through our journey. These are indicated by different destination indicators. Our orange ones are designated our main points of interest. Our green ones indicate our demonstrations. The blue ones indicate cultural destinations. And then again, look out for those caution messages. I'm now going to turn it over to June as she takes us through our destination, our preview of our destinations as we go down California today. June?
Thank you, Wendy. So here we are, you see all of our destinations highlighted on our state of California map. As we move through the day, we will move through all of these different topics. You'll be able to see by the colors whether the destination or the topic has a demonstration or not, and whether it's informational and the topics that will be covered. So Wendy and I, you can picture us as being the voice in your Siri or in your Waze app or whatever. We'll give a brief introduction for each one of these topics. We hope to stay on time today. So if you have staff that would like to, dial in and see some of these demonstrations, we welcome you to invite them, to that part of the Zoom as we get going. So as we move toward the bottom of California and our final topic, that will be the analytics demo. So all of our staff have put in a lot of time and effort, and there's been a lot of collaboration to get us to all of these topics for today. So we certainly hope you hang in for the whole day. So all throughout the day, we have been talking about so far a lot about partnership from our guest speakers at the beginning, and as we move through the process. Kalasaws is a great example of public-private partnerships. We have some great partners that we are working with. And the topics that we're going to show you today and that you're going to hear about are an example of those great partnerships and how they've been made possible by our connection with the vendors that are leaders in their field. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Seth for the next portion of this presentation. Seth?
Thank you, June. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Seth Richmond, the Accenture Kalasaws Project Director. Kalasaws is the culmination of 30 years of progress toward developing the largest integrated statewide eligibility system in the United States. And as John Belay has said many times, perhaps the world. The journey has taken us from NAPAS to ISAWS, from Magic to C4, then ISAWS to C4, WCDS to CalWin, then Leader to LRS by leveraging C4, and most recently transforming the LRS into Kalasaws. Now we are at the penultimate step, migrating C4 to Kalasaws less than 100 days from now. What is so remarkable about this journey is the way we are making it happen, doing it together. I'm here with the leads of the other vendors who partnered with the consortia and county staff to develop consortia systems. Rachel Fry of Deloitte, Don Wilder of Gainwell, as well as Wendy Batterman of ClearBest, who provides quality assurance for Kalasaws. We are united with one goal, to develop and implement Kalasaws, including Benefits Cal and a new statewide central print capability. I'm really proud to be part of this team. In less than 100 days, we will take one more major step forward in this journey, the conversion and implementation of the C4 counties into Kalasaws. And at each step of this journey, we have remained focused on why we are doing this, to meet the needs of California's most vulnerable residents and to support the county staff who serve them. Thank you for allowing us the privilege of helping to make this happen on time and within budget. Now, over to Rachel.
Thanks, Seth. And good morning, everybody. I'm Rachel Fry from Deloitte, leading both the Benefits Cal project as well as the CalWin ISS project, which is helping to support the implementation and migration over to the Kalasaws system. But just wanted to echo Seth's comments. Without a strong partnership between all of the organizations that are involved, not just Accenture and Gainwell, and also our quality assurance vendor, but the IV&V vendor that's supporting as well, with all of the counties, the stakeholders, the state partners that are involved, it really is going to take, not just a village, but it's taking a broad group of people to help with supporting as we move to this single statewide system. It's all of the contributions, it's the collaboration. It has been working side by side, problem solving to come up with the best solution that is going to support the needs of individuals that are seeking services, but also those that are supporting the service delivery model as well. And that's our community-based organizations that are out there helping people to get access to services. It's the counties that are supporting it. But that's what we're really here to do, is to make sure that we are coming up with the best solution collectively across the organizations, so that this September, which is our big milestone to come, is going to set the foundation for the rest of the counties that are going to be migrating, with LA in November, and then all of our CalWin counties that are starting next year. So again, I just want to, share my team's commitment and our passion for this project. It's something that's really important to us. And I wanted to turn it over to Dawn also for a couple of comments too.
Thank you, Rachel. And as the partner for Gainwell on this project, we are also extremely excited to be working with our other vendor partners on this opportunity. It's been an honor to be a part of the county human services delivery for decades. As you heard Paul say, 40 years we've had a relationship with the California counties, and we are absolutely committed to making sure that the CalWin counties continue to have their services throughout their migration, and that we continue to provide the new services that we are excited to be bringing to you for the ongoing Kalasaws project. We have collaborated with some of the vendors that you've heard speaking here today for decades, and that would be decades with an S on it. And we are excited to continue that relationship as well. That collaboration has resulted in a huge amount of delivery services to California, and we are very excited to continue that. So with that, I think I'll be turning this back over to Michael for our potential public comment. Oh, sorry, to Wendy.
That's all right. We're still going on. So this is Wendy, also from ClearBest, and I join Rachel, Seth, and Don, and just expressing like how honored we are to be part of this journey as well. You know, as Seth and everyone has stated, we are united in the implementation of Kalasaws, Benefits Cal, and Central Print for California. Our role is to provide quality assurance across all these efforts, validate not only that requirements are met and processes are followed and the quality is delivered in each solution, but bringing together the teams to jointly resolve issues and deliver a cohesive system and customer experience. And we can attest that all of our consortium vendor partners and the consortium teams are all working together diligently and quite successfully, as demonstrated in our latest and largest and maybe cleanest release ever, release 21.05, to deliver the best system possible. Thank you for letting us be a part of this incredible team. We are with you the whole way. Now let's get started on our journey for today. And I will be up for your first tour guide on our annual audit. So welcome to our first destination, annual audit. Let's swipe up our phone to see where we're going next. All right. Each year, the Kalasaws project undergoes an intensive financial audit to make sure that everything is in order. And year after year, the project has received outstanding reviews. So let's check in with Holly to see how we did this year. Over to you, Holly.
Thanks, Wendy. Well, an important part of any trip is making sure we are prepared, that we have an established budget for the trip, as we did earlier in the agenda this morning, and that we utilize that budget as planned. We stay within the budget, we maintain and retain financial records for the trip. So for Kalasaws, that means we make sure our financials are in order through an external financial audit. The audit is required by our JPA agreement, as noted at the top of the slide here. The auditor is selected through a procurement process that's conducted by San Bernardino County. And that auditor reviews the financial statements. They may conduct field visits if necessary. They request sample information, sample claims, and they interview staff. So on the next slide, you'll see the summary of the results for the audit that covers the period July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. And so this is the first year that covered the financials as a Kalasaws JPA, as prior years were applicable only to Cal ACES. So Eide Bailey serves as our auditor. They conduct the review and produce the single audit report and the audit report on the basic financial statements. And I'm very happy to report that there were no findings of non-compliance. All financials were presented fairly, so no recommendations were made. So that was great news for the JPA. And if I may just take a moment to thank San Bernardino County Auditor Controller and my team, who work really diligently day after day to make sure the financials are always in order. It's a big job. They do an amazing job, as we can see from these results. The documents have been posted for your information. They were sent out via CIT, and they're also posted on kalasaws.org under the About Us tab on that public website, should you require a copy. So with that, I think it's Michael, back to you for comments, questions from the group.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that presentation, ladies. Let's open it up. Do we have comments or questions from our board members or our state partner? Okay, any public comment on this particular presentation item? Okay, hearing none. I just want to thank the presenters. This is definitely exemplary of the together aspect that we've had to pursue on this project, and I like to see that theme keep radiating through all of our presentations. So thank you very much. Okay, I think that brings up our annual audit findings. Is that the next one? Nope.
So our next stop, this is June. Our next stop.
I'm following a lot.
Hang in there. We'll get it down by the end, I'm sure.
So
our next stop. Our next Next up is Central Print. As you all know, Central Print is an important piece of the Kalasaws journey for all of us in California, and to have a centralized print vendor that serves all of California. So this presentation is going to start off with a video, and then we'll cue it over to Dawn. Thank you.
All right, well, that may not be the most exciting travel destination you've ever seen, but it is a really important one. And we are on our way to bringing Central Print into a consolidated unit for 56 of our counties. We do have 2 counties that do their own printing, who will continue to do that, but we are going to be consolidating everyone else together. And what you saw in that video is actually one of our operational print centers. And first to make the stop actually will be Los Angeles County. And as we've been focusing on the C4 County cutover to Kalasaws, we do need to remember we actually have one slightly before that, which is that Los Angeles County in our Central Print Phase 1 will be cutting over the last weekend of August to the Central Print services. All of our remaining phases will coordinate with the Kalasaws implementations. So on our next slide, we're going to have a little conversation here about what we're going to be doing. Printing, obviously is getting ink on paper and envelopes out of the print center, but it is actually a fairly involved process to be sure that we meet the U.S. Postal Service regulations. And we are going to be bringing 3 print centers, all located in California, to bear on the project. And so the general flow, which you're seeing pictured there, is that the files are actually submitted from Kalasaws. So we receive those print files from Kalasaws on a nightly basis out of the batch cycle. We receive those in a workflow system we refer to as our central fulfillment platform. And we're going to talk about that just slightly more on the next slide. But the important thing to realize is that that workflow system allows us to know where each piece of mail is in the process at all times. And it also allows us to do pre-processing of the files. So pre-processing of the files lets us actually eliminate a touch of the envelopes, which helps us to improve quality and to improve our speed. So if you work with printing, one of the things that you have to do is something referred to as pre-sort in order to get the best postage rate available. And that pre-sort typically occurs after the envelope is printed and stuffed. So you have a whole stack of USPS trays, and you actually have to have a pre-sort vendor go through and put those in zip code order in order to get the best rate, because you have to have a certain volume of those. We do this slightly differently. We are actually receiving those files, sorting them as an electronic file in the right order, consolidating mail to the exact same household and the exact same person. And then we are getting them printed and stuffed after we've created the pre-sort item. And so that allows us to eliminate a touch of those envelopes and a stop, because your pre-sort vendor actually is physically located in a different location than your print centers. So we've been able to eliminate all that with the central fulfillment platform. Once we actually get everything printed and stuffed, it'll be printed and stuffed at one of our 3 print centers, the Rancho Print Center, which today handles all the C4 mailings for the C4 counties. The Sacramento Print Center handles the Calhoun counties today. So we are actually handling the mail today for everyone but Los Angeles, who will be joining us and will largely be printed out of that SoCal Print Center. However, by having 3 print centers online at all times, we can handle overflow. We can reroute between those print centers if we have a large volume, and each can serve as disaster recovery for the other, because any 2 print centers can handle a night's volume. And then from the print center, it goes straight to USPS. We're going to bypass that pre-sort vendor. So on the next slide, I just want to take a moment to talk a little bit more about that workflow solution. And trust me, we're not going to go through this in detail, but it's really just an integrated set of software that allows us to actually manage the job, create a job order, The operators, as you saw in that short video, actually have tablets at the stations where they can pull down jobs. They can see exactly what has to be stuffed in each job in terms of, is there an insert? Is there a mailer? Is there a return envelope? That status is available to them, and it is also available to all of our management team, so we can know exactly where every piece is and every job is and its status, and we can also reroute if we need to. The portal is going to be available for the consortium and for members of the county to be able to also take a look at where we are in the process and to be able to track all of the postage funds that are still available and or whether or not they need to be replenished. And we'll also have a couple of customer liaisons who will be working directly with the counties to deal with any concerns, questions, or to help them track their postage. And then Vault is simply where we store off the files. So on the next slide, I just wanted to give you an idea of where we are in the project right now. And also what you're viewing there are the actual 3 print centers. So the one in the lower left, as you're looking at it, is the new SoCal Print Center. The one on the top right is our Rancho Print Center, and the one in the lower right is the Sacramento Print Center. So top right is actually doing your C4 counties today, and the bottom right doing the Calhoun counties today. We have been doing a number of requirement sessions. Those are nearing completion. We have equipment installed. We have supplies on order. We're going through envelope specifications now. That SoCal Print Center is on track to be online at the end of June. And we are a leveraged organization. So we do actually have production customers going into production in August in that print center. And then by the end of August, we will also be printing Kalasaws from part of the Kalasaws print from that location as well. We are testing Kalasaws print files as we speak. We've been testing the sample print files for the upcoming release in collaboration and coordination with Accenture, and that has been going very well. We are also going to be doing load testing. So as you can tell, we already do 2 of the consortium systems. So we are going to be doing production file testing with Los Angeles County files. So we will be receiving actual production files from Los Angeles County Print, and we will be running those through our full and complete process. All 3 of those printer centers are already interconnected from a network perspective, and we're completing network connectivity into the Kalasaws AWS container. So at this point, we are on track. We've been having numerous meetings with Los Angeles County on redetermination packets, ordering of supplies, special paper, the postage processes, and we're also working on getting all of our readiness items taken care of and getting the green light criteria worked up as well for our cutover, which is approaching quickly. We have done some contingency planning as well in case we do have an issue. As we sit here today, we do not see the need to implement contingency planning, but we do have contingency planning in place in the event that we were to have to change our date for Los Angeles County. But again, as we sit here today, we are on track and expecting to make that cutover for Los Angeles County at the end of August. With that, I believe I will be turning it back over to Michael for any questions or comments.
Thank you, Don. Excellent presentation. I do have a quick question. I understand that the 3 centers being centered around the 3 consortium. That makes perfect sense. But as we move forward into a single entity Kalasaws across the whole state, has there been any thought given to the fact there'll be the great majority of the cases and printouts will be in the southern part of the state, and whether or not centers in the north and one in the center might be inversed at that point, just to handle the handoffs with mail and some of the USPS challenges?
Yeah, so we actually did recognize that when we were designing the SoCal Print Center. So in fact, that is our largest print center. It is bigger than either of the other 2. And so we do actually anticipate that we will take a more geographical approach to print when we start doing the actual implementations and cutovers, rather than what's happened today, of course, which is they are divided up by system because there are actually 3 separate contracts, right? But in the future, we do intend to take a geographical approach to that, and the SoCal Print Center has the largest volume capacity.
Any other questions or comments from the board members or our state partner?
Hi, Michael. This is Gilbert Ramos. I have just a question, kind of. So typically in years past, when we've made significant changes with our envelopes or the addresses or the returns addresses, we've had some hiccups and challenges with various postmasters. Has there been any concerted effort to talk to the postmasters about any changes that are going to be happening, whether it be the flow of the mail or the actual design of the mail, the way it'll be printed out with the new central print process?
So we do run all of there is some change to a few of the envelopes. We do run that through our largest drop-off points. So that is the USPS actual warehouse drop-off points, because we're obviously commercial mailer. We work with the commercial warehouses that USPS has. So we do always run those past our USPS warehouses. We also let them know if we anticipate a larger volume coming to them. So we are in communications with the warehouses where we drop, which is the USPS warehouse.
Great. Glad to hear that. Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments from our board members and our state partners? Okay, great presentation. Any public comment on this? Okay, thanks very much, Don. I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
I believe we have security coming up next.
All right, yes, our next destination is security. So protecting the customer's personal data and integrity of our systems, of course, is our highest priority. And the consortium's goal is to provide customers with easy, user-friendly access to benefits, all while protecting their personal information and privacy. And of course, this is no easy feat. So, but our security teams are rising to the challenge. Here to tell you more about them is Belinda Ramirez, and she will talk about how we are scaling security to meet the challenges of Kalasaws, a little bit about our security standards, our security testing, and upcoming technical audits and CMS certifications. So Belinda, and I think you'll be joined also by Arnold Melvick. Please, it's over to you.
Yes, thank you, Wendy. Appreciate it. And kicking it off, we have a short video prepared for you. Can you play the video, please? Thank you, Anthony. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Belinda Ramirez, and I'm the Chief Information Security Officer for Kalasaws. After seeing that movie, it seemed rather long. Cybersecurity attacks are the fastest growing crime across the globe. And in the introduction clip, you saw a string of recent cybersecurity attacks, some directly impacted the state of California. I wanted to share the information with you all and also talk a bit about how we're scaling security to meet the challenges of Kalasaws. As many of you know, with the move to the cloud and the modernization of the Kalasaws subsystems, we now have 4 distinct vendors responsible for the design, development, implementation, and maintenance for Kalasaws systems. With this move and the modernization efforts come some major security architecture challenges. One of the top of my priorities was to find a way to standardize on a set of methods and tools and to define maturity models for Kalasaws to address any architecture challenges. To date, we have 2 and soon to be 3 public-facing applications, all built with slightly different architectures that benefit from a growing set of standards and security configurations. And at Kalasaws, security is everyone's responsibility. We pride ourselves in fostering transparency and can constantly collaborate to look for opportunities that will improve and mature Kalasaws security posture as one team. The consortium security team meets on a regular basis with our vendor partners to review the security, reliability, performance efficiency, cost optimization, and operational excellence. We also, as a team, engage our AWS enterprise support resources and quality assurance vendor ClearBest as we consider them an essential part of Kalasaws security team working toward secure, high-performing, resilient, and efficient workloads. Next slide, please. In order to scale efficiently, it's important to create standards, and to date, we've established Kalasaws architectural standards and the Kalasaws baseline system security plan standard. Next slide, please. The consortium facilitates the architectural standard sessions. Participants include all vendors and Kalasaws AWS enterprise support resources. The architectural standard sessions ensure accountability, transparency, responsiveness, inclusiveness, empowerment, and broad-based participation in the development of Kalasaws architectural standards. On this slide, we have a snapshot of standards that have been adopted and also some in review. Next slide, please. As a best practice, the consortium has documented a baseline system security plan with the applicable security controls required for Kalasaws use cases. With multiple systems developed by multiple vendors, the architecture for each is slightly different. The controls and procedures that each vendor is responsible for varies and is determined by the type of AWS platform that they use in their design. In our relentless journey to provide standardized methods and tools as part of our oversight responsibility, the consortium security team has a well-defined and documented process to assist Kalasaws vendors in completing the system security plan, along with the project schedule template and all of the required controls and a responsibility matrix that defines responsibility. The consortium and vendor security teams collaborate in a series of work sessions to complete their respective controls, and the consortium's QA vendor reviews to ensure that all of our I's are dotted and all of our T's are crossed. Next slide, please. Now we can dive into the security in the works. Starting with the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. The Kalasaws has standardized on the vulnerability assessment and penetration test by having Kalasaws vendors use the same third-party vendor to ensure consistent testing across the Kalasaws systems. As Holly mentioned, we're also working towards CMS certification, and we have procured a third-party vendor. From a security perspective, they will perform the technical audit and provide a report with the assessments that map to the CMS requirements. Next slide, please. At a high level, there are 6 areas of concentration that the third-party vendor focuses on to discover and collect information about Kalasaws systems to perform their test. I won't go into detail for all the areas on this slide, but wanted to display them. Kalasaws systems are reviewed for vulnerabilities, and the test is very in-depth. Next slide, please. The audit is planned to start this year and will be conducted annually through fiscal year 2025. The technical audit service places emphasis such that the implementation of each control is documented with evidence to prove compliance to the control. All technical systems properly implement the security control according to the Center for Internet Security Controls, CIS benchmark standard for the appropriate technology. Any non-technical controls are properly implemented according to the process documented in compliance with NIST and Kalasaws security control baselines. And the last one is any known deficiencies are properly documented with plan of action, milestones, and created to track the remediation. Next slide, please. Ensuring security and maintaining compliance requires forethought and the agility to adjust according to scale. It requires being active and present in communication with state security professionals and meeting on a regular basis, not just in time of crisis. I have an incredible access to people, great set of folks that I meet with regularly. I meet with the state and agency security, privacy, and policy folks to discuss the current state of affairs and often solicit feedback and seek input. And I want to personally thank them for everything they do for Kalasaws. Next slide, please. Lastly, I wanted to provide an update on where we are with CMS outcome-based certification, otherwise known as OBC. The certification is designed to ensure that systems that receive federal financial participation are meeting the business needs of the state and of CMS. We've started mapping Kalasaws required artifacts, and from a security perspective, planning to work with a third-party auditing firm to ensure output of the artifacts mapped to the artifacts outlined in the CMS framework for the independent third-party security and privacy assessment guidelines for Medicaid enterprise systems. CMS certification requires artifacts on vulnerability and testing scenarios, which will be provided by Symbia, who has already performed one test and scheduled to perform 2 more by the end of August. Well, this concludes the security scaling to meet the challenges of Kalasaws. I hope you found the information helpful. And now I'll turn it over to Arnold Malvitt for an overview of Accenture's cybersecurity and ransomware protection and efforts in the works to strengthen Kalasaws' security posture. Thank you.
Thank you, Belinda. And we take security and have to take it extremely seriously in the fact that over a third of our California population and our most vulnerable residents are reliant upon us being secure. And with the headlines that you're seeing in the news today around JBS, the Colonial Pipeline, just the ongoing string of incidents, we know that the threat actors are very active. And so what we've been developing and will continue to develop in an ongoing process is what we call the Swiss cheese metaphor for security. And the fact that when you look at a full block of the Swiss cheese, it's solid. And then you have the layers, and even all the layers may not be absolutely perfect, but when you look at it together as a whole, you're solid and your data is protected. And it's important to realize that that security has multiple layers that have a human component to it, as well as a technology component. And so as we build up each of the layers of protection, that block gets more and more solid. So it starts with the technology side and making sure the right people have the right access to the system, whether it's the agents who are helping the recipients and the applicants, whether it's the portals where there's self-service availability, whether it's the lobby management system for checking in and managing the workload. All of those areas are part of the defense mechanism in keeping our data safe. And so we make sure that the people have the right access. Then we look at our network designs and saying, how are we protecting overall the network? And how are we blocking traffic from known bad actors that are out there? There are very large organizations, there are nation states out there that have tremendous finances and financial resources. One of the layers is being able to block the traffic inbound as well as communication outbound to those known bad actors. Then we have our detective side. So when you get into the security monitoring the traffic, the requests that are coming in, the users that are coming in, and looking for anything that looks out of the normal so we can investigate it and understand if it is actually valid traffic or if it's something that requires further investigation and action to stop in order to protect the overall system and the data. Then you get into the preventative side. So along the network side, as well as on the internal side, making sure that the various aspects of the system, whether it's the front end, whether it's the print services, whether it's the core system, that the communications is limited to only that communication that should be happening between each of those components. Now you start getting into more of the process side. So there's a technology series of protection, and there's the process side, which really gets into what we call our service catalog. And that is, what are the specific transactions that should be applied? Who should have the right access to those transactions? And going through a review of that process on a regular basis. So again, we make sure that as we have that service catalog, we securely grant that access as we mature the technology. It is reviewed for vulnerabilities. It is also reviewed from a security access perspective and also from a vulnerability and resiliency perspective. Then you're getting into your business metadata model, and that's really getting into the definitions. So even as simple as defining the different document types that are stored as images on the system, getting into the different welfare program definitions, that's what metadata means. And it's going through and again, making sure that from a perspective of who has the access to the programs, it is safe and secure. Then you finally end up where the key is, and in the fact that everybody, all humans involved in the process, have a role to play as well. One of the leading indicators or one of the leading ways of exploiting it that triggers some of these incidents that we've heard about is something as simple as the email phish or the voicemail phish. And so it's how do we detect those and how do we train our users who have the ability to log into the system and have access to the sensitive information of our residents? How do we train those people to avoid becoming victims of a phish? And so we also are protecting the people side of the world as well. So that creates all the layers that creates the solid security architecture that we have in place. It crosses all vendors. There are aspects that are common and shared, as well as there are aspects that are custom to each of the various components based upon the role being played. And with that, we have a secure platform. Happy to answer questions. Michael, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Belinda and Arnold. That was a great presentation. I have a couple questions and then I'll open up to others. I wanted to find out, I believe the auditing that was referred to in there and the penetration test, did they fall under the security NIST SOC 2 auditing that we were talking about earlier in the meeting?
Yes. So in part of the second audit, there's a technical audit that we included. That's correct.
And then I wanted to know, are we structuring to try to achieve a zero trust architecture according to NIST? Is that what we're going for? Or what is our, when we say we have a layered security, secure stack, is it based on NIST like zero trust, or what is the model we're?
It's several. I mean, I don't want to steal Arnold's thunder, but what we've been doing is creating standards based on NIST 853, revision 4, soon to be moving to 5. And working with our vendor partners, we just recently did a review of a AWS well-architected framework. So we're looking at a maturity model to come up with to move to more of a secure state. And I would say, yes, zero trust.
Yes, and it's an evolutionary journey because, and just like security always will be, because the threat actors will be continuing to advance in their capabilities. And so we will have the security and the zero trust model and other protection that continues to evolve as new capabilities come out.
Okay, good. I think it'll be beneficial for the board members for us to be able to demonstrate to them what components we're addressing that fill this sort of model as we move forward with the audit and then do any remediation. So it'd be really helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Any other questions or comments from the board members and our state partners?
I raised my hand and I put the question in the comment. Thank you.
Michael, this is John. The comment in chat was from Frankie says, a lot of the advocates have been asking for the ability to review the documents clients submit for benefit approval. From the security perspective, is it possible to be able to review and retrieve documents maybe before submitting them to a DPSS caseworker? I'll start off first by saying, number one, policy drives the access and who has the ability to be able to do that. So we make sure that it is in compliance with policy. There are some policy for the programs on what advocates or assisters do have access to. And then we will, once we have the clear policy, enable and protect that data pursuant to the policy. We know the Benefits Cal team is working with our state partners on the policy as well as CBOs on the necessary access. And maybe when we get to the Benefits Cal presentation, maybe Gabby or Rachel can expand further on that. But we understand the request and we're making sure that our security is firm and tight, but also in compliance with program policy, which dictates appropriate access to appropriate information while protecting the individual's information. Back to you, Michael.
Yeah, thanks for that question, Frankie, and John, your response. I know authorized reps and other kind of entities come into this, as well as the sisters. So look forward to getting further feedback on that. Any other questions from the board members or comments? And any more public comment besides Frankie's one that was put in the chat? Okay, great. Well, security is going to always be at the forefront for us, especially with a cloud-based enablement and also our online portal coming. So we're going to be having lots of chats with you, Belinda, and your team, and Arnold. And I'm really interested to see where we go with it. So thank you for your commitment to it.
You're welcome.
High priority.
Thank you.
Okay, so then that brings us to the Kalasaws cultural transformation
Yep.
item on the journey.
Thank you, Michael. So we're going to take a little bit of a break from Tech Talk and talk about one of our cultural destinations for today. As you all know, the 58 counties came together as a consortium, and we knew we needed to scale not only the system, but the project resources as well. We needed to create the Kalasaws identity, not the C4 identity, not the CalWin identity, and not the LRS identity, but the Kalasaws identity that includes the foundation and values of where we've all been and create a Kalasaws for the future. And with that, I'll turn it over to Felix.
Thank you, June. Hello, everyone. It is so nice to meet you all, albeit virtually, and thank you so much for your time today. My name is Felix Fincher, and I've been working through the cultural transformation for the Kalasaws project team over the last year. It has been an incredible experience to focus specifically on our people, particularly throughout the ambiguity and instability that COVID-19 brought. The following video illustrates the work that we've done and what we've accomplished to foster and sustain that one Kalasaws culture that June was mentioning, both in person and virtually. I hope you enjoy it. As Kalasaws has grown, it became imperative to prioritize working as one Kalasaws with streamlined, effective, and efficient communication and collaboration across all project staff and organizations. This required both a tactical understanding of the different organizational cultures at play across the project, as well as a clear North Star vision of what it looks like to operate as one Kalasaws. The Cultural Transformation Team focuses on aligning all organizational cultures and best practices to define, inspire, and sustain long-term behavioral and cultural change across every level of Kalasaws project staff. First, we measured the current Kalasaws culture to understand what we were doing well and what we could do better. We surveyed project staff and found that they wanted 3 specific things to bridge the divides between organizations and locations. First, they wanted more transparency about how their individual roles and their teams contribute to the broader Kalasaws mission. Secondly, they wanted increased feedback and recognition across the project. And lastly, they wanted more opportunities to increase connection with other teams that they didn't work directly with. Teams of volunteers, called cultural ambassadors, then defined and implemented these cultural transformation initiatives that met the needs of the Kalasaws project. Everyone's role in Kalasaws, also known as ERIC, focused on finding a third-party software where we synced each team member's project profile with where they fit in the broader Kalasaws organization. The ERIC team aimed at increasing transparency across the project and connecting all project staff back to the Kalasaws mission. To do so, ERIC sought to create a platform complete with an integrated and interactive dashboard with individual profiles that highlighted team responsibilities, role descriptions, and skill sets. Since being rolled out, the ERIC platform is now the centralized location for all project information regarding teams, organizations, and roles, and has been instrumental in tracking staff capabilities and organizational structuring. It has made it easier for new joiners to acclimate to the project, orienting them without in-person training and offering insight into who their coworkers are, what they do, and how they fit in. Feedback Friday highlights the value of constructive feedback and positive recognition on the project by giving all project staff a platform to publicly recognize the contributions of their colleagues. The bi-weekly Feedback Friday email both showcases all of the great work happening across the project and also reminds people to continue the feedback loop and further ingrain feedback as an integral part of the Kalasaws culture. The cross-pollination team aims to create a greater sense of connection across all of Kalasaws by focusing specifically on barriers between organizations, locations, and teams. The team facilitates networking and wellness events to build rapport and increase cross-team connection, therefore facilitating the building of the One Kalasaws culture. Both Feedback Friday and cross-pollination seamlessly transition to our new normal by facilitating all networking events and feedback sessions virtually. By doing so, we were able to stay connected even when working apart. Since COVID-19 and working remote, staff may experience a blurring between work versus personal space. The Cultural Transformation team created an ambassador group focused on employee wellness. The wellness team created a guide filled with tips for how to balance between being productive at work while also tending to personal needs while working from home. In addition, the Kalasaws project holds a Zoom monthly all-staff meeting to keep all project staff apprised and engaged with what is going on across the project. For example, we have previously used this time to introduce new startup efforts such as statewide imaging and have welcomed guest speakers like JPA Board Chair Michael Sylvester. We regularly have over 600 attendees on the Zoom all-staff meetings, and people look forward to coming together to see those they haven't since the pandemic hit. We also began sending out the monthly Kalasaws Connect newsletter, which provides a more personal element to being on the project. The Kalasaws Connect newsletter highlights things happening in the world, our Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Advancement team, our Cultural Ambassador initiatives, team highlights, and news from people across the project. We asked a few of our Kalasaws colleagues for testimonials of their experience with Kalasaws cultural transformation. Here's what they had to say.
Hi, my name is Lanisha Miles, and I am the Kalasaws Consortium PMO Manager. I started on the Kalasaws project as a regional manager transitioning from CalWin with only one end goal in mind, helping move to a single sauce system. Like others, I was now a part of this huge organization and had no idea who my internal customers were or how I would intersect with them. But I took lessons from my regional manager toolbox, listening and engaging. Listening has been the key to understanding how we meet basic staff needs, and it's been great to be part of this culture ambassador opportunity and to learn how these efforts have benefited people on the project. Now I'd like to introduce to you two Kalasaws staff members, Ashley Arnold and Maggie Orozco, to share their experiences. Ashley Arnold is our consortium training manager from Sacramento County. She started with Kalasaws in 2019 prior to the pandemic.
Thanks, Lanisha. Being at the project over a year and a half now, the ERIC tool has been very useful to check team structure when I'm trying to locate a contact. With so much movement possible at Kalasaws, it's helpful to be able to verify someone's current team or manager to make sure you're reaching out to the right person. I will confess, I should spend more time on my bio, but I love reading other people's bios when I'm looking for other information. It's a fun way to learn a little bit about someone at a glance and find commonalities you wouldn't have known about otherwise. The cross-pollination activities were really enjoyable too. Our team, the consortium training team, met for a virtual coffee break with the Accenture system test team, and it was so nice to be able to get to know them a little bit in a fun, relaxed environment. I hope we can do more of these in the future, especially if we continue working remotely. That social interaction is such an important part of a happy workplace. I've enjoyed Feedback Fridays as well. Not only are they a great way to recognize someone for all their hard work, but it's really special to read about all the helpful teammates we have at the project and see how all of that impacts.
Thank you, Ashley. Now I'd like to introduce to you Maggie Orozco, who joined the Kalasaws project post-pandemic, October 2020, and she comes to us from Monterey County.
I joined the project 7 months into the pandemic and have not been able to meet any of my coworkers in person. ERIC is a great tool that has helped me understand where I fit within the organization and learn about other teams and their roles. The Who's Who guessing game within the mobile app made it fun to become familiar with team members across the organization.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you both for sharing your experiences and how these efforts have benefited you. Personally, ERIC, everyone's role in Kalasaws, and the cross-pollination effort are at the core of what staff were seeking, and I think we have accomplished that. Most importantly, I see that these tools will remain vital to new and existing Kalasaws staff, and we look forward to continuing to enhance them.
After a year of these initiatives moving to a virtual space, we reran our culture survey to see whether we had positively impacted the overall culture score of the project. According to the survey results, we saw a marked improvement from last year with an increase of almost 20%. An increase of this scale has a direct positive impact on the wellness of our staff and their engagement with their work, which inevitably allows us to continue hitting our project milestones, leading to user acceptance test and the C4 September cutover, while responding to the pandemic emergency allotments and delivering benefits to California's most impacted clients.
And with that, Michael, it's back to you.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was any more discussion after that. Okay. Any comments or questions from our board members or our state partners? All right. Great presentation. Any public comment on this one? Okay. And I checked the chat. Didn't have anything down there. Okay, then we'll go ahead, and I think we've completed that and move on to the next one. Is this UAT on the journey?
This is UAT. So our next stop is user acceptance testing, which is UAT. This is UAT's opportunity for counties to confirm that the Kalasaws application, imaging, state reports, and benefits Cal function for the counties per the approved migration requirements. This UAT is truly historic. When we first envisioned the UAT effort, we did not anticipate the enthusiasm it would raise. We have over 500 participants. Those are testers and subject matter experts in part of this UAT. And not only do we have over 500 participants, but they're all working remotely across the state to test the integrated solution of Kalasaws, imaging, and benefits Cal, and to review the state reports. It's pretty impressive. UAT execution is for C4 cutover is already underway, and I've heard that things are going very well. Let's check in to see how activities are going so far. Peggy, what can you tell us?
Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be here today to give you this update on user acceptance testing. But before that, let's watch a short video. Play the video, please.
Welcome to our UAT journey for the September 27th Go Live. This integrated UAT effort provides the counties the opportunity to confirm the functionality of the Kalasaws application migration changes, the new imaging solution, state reports with converted data, and Benefits Cal, our new portal mobile solution. Prior to September 27th Go Live, counties will confirm functionality in each of these areas. LA will confirm the new imaging and Benefits Cal portal mobile functions, and CalWIN will confirm the Benefits Cal apply for benefits the public-facing functionality. For CalWIN, round-trip testing between Benefits Cal and Kalasaws will occur during the summer of 2022 with CalWIN data. We have formed a cross-functional UAT management team to support the UAT participants and provide a comprehensive and integrated UAT experience from planning all the way through execution. This team is knowledgeable in conducting and leading UAT and very excited to assist in this effort. Our integrated UAT management team is supporting a diverse group of county UAT participants as they prepare and execute UAT scenarios. A total of 512 UAT participants and subject matter experts from across all 6 regions have volunteered to participate in the testing of the Kalasaws application, the new imaging solution, a review of state reports, and Benefits Cal. UAT participants have one of 2 roles during UAT execution: User Acceptance Tester and UAT Triage Subject Matter Expert, or SME. The User Acceptance Tester will execute test scenarios, log results, and log findings in the Kalasaws UAT Web Portal. They will also retest defects and log results and participate in daily and weekly triage meetings. The UAT Triage SME will triage findings for an established group of testers, analyze and determine if the finding is a defect or functioning as designed, and also participate in the daily and weekly triage meetings. Welcome to the Kalasaws UAT Web Portal. The team has created an area to store Kalasaws UAT information where testers can see messages, test schedules, scenarios, execution results, findings, defects, and other test materials. We have already accomplished so much. Between March and May, UAT participants have participated in a UAT kickoff for test preparation, reviewed 55 training materials, reviewed 332 design documents, validated UAT environment access, and reviewed, updated, and created 1,928 UAT test scenarios. On June 7th, which was 1 week prior to the start of UAT execution, UAT participants attended the Kalasaws UAT Orientation for execution. In this orientation, testers were introduced to the UAT execution processes and test tools such as the UAT Kalasaws Web Portal. They also met their fellow testers, triage team, and UAT integrated management and support teams. On June 8th, the UAT Triage Subject Matter Experts attended a training to prepare for helping to review and manage findings reported and support the UAT participants throughout the process. As of June 7th, UAT preparation was considered complete. All entry criteria has been met and the team has proceeded on to UAT execution. UAT execution spans a 12-week period. During the UAT execution period, testers will be scheduled according to the functionality they will be testing. Functionality has been blocked into groupings of eligibility programs, including CalWorks, CalFresh, Childcare, Medi-Cal, CMSP, Welfare to Work, FSET, GAGR, Foster Care, Adoption Assistance, and KingGap. Kalasaws functional units such as Resource Data Bank, Lobby Management, Fiscal, Reports, and Imaging, and Benefits Cal functionality, including Account Management, EBT, Document Upload, Languages, Eligibility, Notifications, and more. Tester participation has been scheduled at a minimum in 2-week blocks. Functionality is being tested along 3 UAT timeframes to accommodate the different testing being completed by C4, LA, and CalWin UAT participants. The first timeframe shown is for the C4 counties and is for the period of June 14th through September 3rd, 2021. UAT participants from the C4 counties are confirming the Kalasaws application migration changes. The timeframe for this testing is from June 14th through August 20th and is shown in the yellow blocks. Testers are confirming the Benefits Cal functionality between June 14th and September 3rd. These dates are shown in the pink blocks. Testers will confirm the admin functions of the new imaging solution from June 28th through July 2nd and complete retesting of the defects from July 19th through July 23rd. These dates are shown in the purple blocks. Testers will review the state reports with converted C4 data from August 2nd through August 13th. These dates are shown in the blue box. As a reminder, all UAT activities are being performed remotely. The second time frame is for LA County and is for the period of June 14th through September 3rd, 2021. During this period, LA will confirm Benefits Cal functionality across the entire time period. The timeframe is shown in the pink blocks. The LA testers will also confirm the new imaging solution from August 9th through 18th and retest defects between August 30th and September 3rd. This timeframe is shown in the purple blocks. The third timeframe is for the Cowin counties and is from June 14th through July 16th, 2021. During this timeframe, Cowin will confirm the public-facing functionality of Benefits Cal. Stay tuned for more upcoming information for Cowin, as round-trip testing between Kalasaws and Benefits Cal will occur in the summer of 2022 during the full Cowin UAT. What is a day in the life of a UAT participant like? Well, during UAT execution, participants will attend meetings on Mondays to discuss weekly test goals and test execution status, daily stand-up meetings to discuss direction, and daily triage meetings to discuss identified findings. On an ongoing basis, participants will receive test assignments, execute scripts, document results, log findings, and retest defects. And, as always, they will be supported by a Zoom bridge line that will remain open all day to provide one-on-one and group support. Participants will also be able to receive support by sending questions to the Kalasaws email address and obtaining information from the frequently asked questions and other materials published on the Kalasaws UAT web portal. As findings and defects are raised throughout the UAT period, the UAT triage and management team will communicate the findings and the resolutions to improve understanding and support materials. Findings and resolutions will be communicated to the user acceptance testers and triage SMEs for understanding of their dispositions, the implementation, training, and change management teams for incorporation into plans, communications, and materials, and the service desk teams to enable them to better provide customer support. A summary of key UAT findings will also be provided at upcoming stakeholder meetings. During execution, testers may find potential defects. If a tester's finding is valid, it will be fixed and delivered to the original tester for retesting. If the original tester is unable to participate in the retest efforts, the defect will be tested by another tester. At the end of the 12-week UAT period, we will know we are ready to exit UAT and migrate to production when all of our UAT exit criteria have been met. This includes having executed all UAT test cases, validated that all Priority 1 defects have been fixed, created plans for any open Priority 2 defects, which includes providing any job aids and instructions to counties, validated that all defects have been recorded in the change control tool, and communicated test results. Job aids and instructions to the counties will be provided through our implementation process. During the same time period as UAT, the Benefits Cal team will conduct usability testing with advocates and assisters to provide them with the opportunity to test the application to confirm ease of use, clarity of content, behavior patterns and preferences, and task completion, and identify usability errors. Usability testing will occur July 12th through July 30th. Please note that while this effort occurs during the same time period as UAT, it is separate from UAT and will be conducted in the training environment. Support will also be provided throughout the entire time frame by the Benefits Cal usability team. The Benefits Cal team will provide more information to participants as we get closer to the start of usability testing on July 12th. It is an exciting time for all to participate and confirm that we're ready for the September 27th go live. Our next steps include continuing to support C4, LA, and Cowin counties throughout their designated UAT execution periods and usability confirmation for the advocates and assisters in July. Thank you for your continued support and providing UAT participants to help with the overall success of Kalasaws.
Alrighty, so that gives you an update of, where we've been, where we are, and how things are going thus far. So this slide here depicts, what the results of our UAT has reaped thus far. So for Kalasaws, we have 61 testers, 11 SMEs who represent 23 counties. We have 49 scenarios that have been completed, 24 that are in progress, and thus far we have a 90% pass rate of the 49 scenarios that have been completed. On the Benefits Cal side, we have 43 testers, 9 subject matter experts representing 20 counties. We've completed 99 scenarios, and 39 of those 39 scenarios are still in progress. And we have thus far achieved an 88% pass rate of the 99 scenarios completed. So our first week of a little more than our first week of UAT has been completed, and we are off to an amazing start for our execution. And we want to thank you and for your county participation and the staff that you have provided. Saranjan, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, Peggy, I pretty much the same thing I'll repeat. It's been 2 weeks and we have got off to a flying start. Would not have been possible without the enthusiastic support and knowledgeable group of testers and SMEs that we have. So I want to recognize them, and I want to thank the leadership team here who have made those folks available to participate in this historic UAT. So with my thanks, Peggy and I, we really appreciate it, and we hope that we continue the success story for next 10 weeks. Back to Michael.
Okay, great. Well, the system's only going to be as good as its UAT, so we want to always make sure that it's passing muster. So thank you very much for the commitment on that. It's ultimately important, and a great presentation. Any comments or questions from the other board members or state partners?
Michael, this is Becky Emery from Region 3. And I wanted to find out if the UAT, if all the slots are being filled for the UAT. I know that's super important as we're moving through this process.
Yes, we have all the slots filled. We have, however, received some information from counties that some participants have to drop, either for new assignments that they've received or been promoted or whatever. And they have, if they're able, they have been able to provide replacements for those folks. We're taking roll every single day in UAT. And so we are following up with folks that don't show up, and to determine, whether it's just for the day or if there has been a change.
Okay, and also, Peggy, I'd just like to encourage us that if we do have a loss in our UAT members from a particular county, that we're able to go to another county in the region and then go be outside the region to fill it, because those slots are important. And if the resources can't be made available by a particular county or region because of just for whatever reason, we want to fill it somewhere else. We don't want to leave it voided or vacant.
I think the good thing is that we have multiple counties performing execution of tests. So even if we have one participant that drops or doesn't participate, we have potentially 2 or 3 others that are performing execution of the same scenario. So we're not losing any anybody's look at any one particular scenario, and we did that purposefully.
Thank you. Becky, do you still have a question? The hand up is still up for you. Okay, I read your lips because you were on mute and you said no. Frankie, for public comment, did you have a comment you wanted to make, or do you want to type it in the chat?
I'm assuming this is more just on the representative end for the UAT, like the DPSS workers. It's not about when consumers will be testing testing the system. Is that correct?
This is John. That is correct. I think in the video we're seeing this is really for the C4 counties, the caseworkers testing the application to make sure it works for them as they process benefits. The benefits CAL information was the usability testing, and there is usability testing going on with CBOs, FBOs, and the public. And later on, there will be a section on benefits CAL and some of the usability testing that has gone on.
Thank you.
Great question. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all right then, John, we can go ahead and move on to the next item. We're on our road trip.
So this is June. Our next stop is a cultural destination related to our Kalasaws idea. The Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Advancement Project at Kalasaws has a mission to promote the visible commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion that guides our behaviors and our business strategies in a manner that maximizes our ability to respect our differences. So with that, I'll turn it over to Casey.
Thank you, June. Good morning, everyone. I'm Casey Morris, and I'm leading this idea effort along with Chasney Nunes. We have created this video for you, which goes over our initiative in detail, how it was created, how we came up with our different initiatives that belong under IDEA for the internal project team at Kalasaws. So please enjoy and take a look. Hi everyone, I'm Casey Morris.
And I'm Chasney Nunes.
And we're leading the IDEA effort at Kalasaws, or Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Advancement. Let's take a look. The mission of the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Advancement team is to promote a visible commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion that guides our behaviors and business strategies in a manner that maximizes our ability to respect differences of our employees and the communities we serve. Our approach to diversity, equity, and inclusion is not like others. We take more of a strategic approach through user-centered design. We asked a group of 25 diverse employees from Kalasaws' team to participate in a collaborative design thinking session to develop intentional, inclusive initiatives that would ultimately advance diversity, equity, and inclusion at Kalasaws. Through this process, we are able to better understand some of the fears we bring to work, which helps us determine the challenges we are facing, allowing us to create concepts to fulfill those challenges. Once we prioritize the concepts, our team was able to pinpoint the needs of Kalasaws and create 7 different initiatives. The process moved swiftly. Our first ideation session took place August 6th of 2020, and our last breakout session concluded October 20th, 2020. All 7 of our initiatives were live within 4 months of us creating the concepts.
The IDEA team has truly raised and sustained the consciousness of inclusion, diversity, and equity across the project. Of all the IDEA initiatives, my personal favorite is the Kalasaws Table Talks. The talks give a forum for team members to share the perspectives of the world, and in turn, it has helped others to share their experiences, ask hard questions, and gain an understanding and compassion for their fellow team members. It can be truly humbling. Thank you to the IDEA team for bringing all of the initiatives and focus to Kalasaws.
I'll dive a little deeper into each of our initiatives and the benefits they bring to the Kalasaws project. As you can see, each initiative has different participation rates. The number inside each bubble represents the average number of participants we see for an initiative. There are some exceptions like the We Are One and Me You Us training initiatives that cannot be measured in this way because they're continuously updated tools that can be used by anyone at any time. The first initiative I will speak about is called We Are One. This is a document repository on SharePoint that allows anyone across the project to access their own employers' inclusion and diversity resources, as well as our IDEA inclusion and diversity resources we provide to everyone. Our next initiative that I'll speak about is called Kalasaws Table Talks. This, I must say, is one of our favorites and seems to be a favorite for a lot of our Kalasaws employees as well. As you can see in the screenshots on this slide, the participation numbers consistently stay pretty high. These safe space conversations have allowed our colleagues to hear from people with different backgrounds and perspectives, allowing for us to become more aware and build stronger understanding of the people we all work with on a daily basis. The third initiative I'll speak about is our Buddy program. This is a mentorship program that has allowed our Kalasaws participants to build genuine connections through this simple matching process. Each Buddy program is run for 6 months at a time, so the next program will begin October of 2021. The fourth initiative is called Me US Training. This initiative was created for Kalasaws team members that are interested in learning on their own and at their own pace. It is a self-paced training guide that promotes awareness of ourselves and our colleagues. The fifth and sixth initiatives are workshops provided by an external vendor, Project 986 Consulting. The first one I will talk about is called Co-Creating on Inclusion and Belonging. This initiative's goal is to provide a place for our employees to refresh and expand their awareness and knowledge of inclusion and diversity in an interactive forum. These workshops are offered every other month to all employees on the Kalasaws project. The Lead with Intention initiative is the second initiative that we offer through our external vendor, Project 986 Consulting. This initiative is specifically for our leaders on the project, providing them with the tools and skills to challenge their own perspectives to help build a Kalasaws team where everyone has access and equal opportunity to success. These workshops help educate our leaders, give them tools to apply the practices they are learning, and allows for open dialogue amongst colleagues.
Hi, I'm Sean. I believe that IDEA plays an important role in changing the culture of the organization, one that makes Kalasaws a great place to work. Through table talks, we came together to share our background, talk about events that happen in our communities that impact us. We listen, we learn, we celebrate our diversity. There are other programs that IDEA spearheads to make us one, to make us a strong organization.
Another offering that we created after the original ideation sessions was the opportunity to create and be a part of employee resource groups, or an ERG. Employee resource groups are an integral component of Kalasaws' commitment to help us drive positive and progressive change, particularly as it pertains to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Best practices from other organizations indicate that when ERGs are established, employees become more engaged in identifying ways to leverage diversity and increase inclusion. Our ERGs support Kalasaws' commitment to promoting diversity and inclusion and professional development.
It has been great to participate in the development and subsequent activities within IT. Workshops have been an opportunity to learn, and the table talks an opportunity to listen. But the buddy program, well, that's been an opportunity for both. As a manager, I expected to be coaching, but instead we're sharing ideas, communication strategies, we're sharing best practices, and we're sharing some great reads. Overall, I think all of these initiatives are great for learning from one another, and we are learning more and more each day about inclusion, diversity, and equity.
And Michael, I think it's back to you at this point.
Okay, great. This has been a real important topic of discussion at the project, and I'm so glad to see a focus on it. And I think it's going to continue to evolve and expand and become kind of a part of the threads of everything we do. So thanks for the commitment of everybody in the team to diversity, inclusion, and equity. And I look forward to seeing more and more things coming out of this particular initiative. So thank you to the presenters. And I believe, John, does that bring us up on lunch? I think that's what I saw on the agenda next.
I think we got to see if there's any member comments, and then I think there might be public comment, and then yes, the all important lunch.
That's right. I guess I got a little ahead of myself when I looked down and I thought about how long it's been since I ate breakfast. So, all right. So, do we have any comments or questions from the rest of the board members? All right. Good presentation. Do we have any public comment on this particular item? It's been a topic of discussion in the past.
I see there's something in the chat.
Yeah, and I can answer to that. Antonia, thank you for your question. So the ERGs, the employee resource groups, are employee-led groups. So yes, of course, if there's someone who wants to start a group for the group of people who identify in this manner, we'd love that. We open it up to everyone. And so anyone who wants to have a group, as long as it's not religiously affiliated, we welcome that. And so yes, that'd be very welcome here, and we'd love for that to be started if an employee wants to do that.
Excellent. Do they just reach out to your group, Casey, to establish something like that?
Yes, that's a good question. We have an erg@kalasaws.org email. So we have an overall email, or you can always reach out to the IDEA team, which is the same, just the Kalasaws at the end, and it has IDEA at the front. So feel free to reach out.
Can I make a suggestion? Do you think we might be able to put a link on the project website that could say if you want to start a group, and then have that be the contact information behind it?
I can definitely share that.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, any other comments or questions from board members or our state partners or members of the public? All right, outstanding presentation. Thank you so much. John, what's protocol to lead to lunch? Just what's our time to be back?
The time to be back is 1 o'clock sharp. So I think, we have a good period, a little bit over an hour for a lunch break, recharge batteries, and please be back on time, because right at 1, we have a big section on Benefits Cal and what's going on with Benefits Cal. And then we're going to go into some of our readiness material. So we have a lot of information. So 1 o'clock is when we reconvene.
1 o'clock, and it sounds like some good stuff coming up, folks. So try to be back on time. Thank you.
Thank you.